Keystone Heights. What is going on, neighbors? I hope everyone is staying safe. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all the positive feedback I've been getting about my snake education videos that I've been posting in this group. And I also want to thank everybody for spreading the word and letting other people know that I am happy to come move snakes. I've done several relocation calls recently, which is awesome. I've said it a million times and I will continue to say it. I am always happy to come move snakes out of you guys' yards. So definitely keep me in mind next time you come across a snake in an unsavory area. With that said, I do want to make another video for y'all, and this one's going to be a little bit longer, so bear with me here because I think you're really gonna like what I have to say. In this video, I'm going to cover the big question: how can I keep snakes out of my yard and away from my home? So like I said, this is gonna be a little bit of a longer video, but I hope you can stick with me on this one because I think I'm gonna have a lot of stuff that you guys are gonna wanna hear. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I wanna harp on for this video is mothballs and snake away. So you may have heard through the grapevine, through your neighbor, through a friend, through a family member, that if you put mothballs outside, it'll keep snakes away. Or if you go to like a Lowe's or Home Depot and buy any kind of snake deterrent like snake away or something like that, that'll also work. I'm going to debunk that right now. That is an absolute myth. There is no science behind it, and there is no testing that these companies like Snake Away do to prove that it actually works, and there are plenty of studies that show that these products do not work. So please save yourself some money. Do not buy things like Snake Away because it's not going to work and you're just wasting your money. As far as the mothball thing goes, once again, science says that that does not work. I can attest to it. I've seen it plenty of times. So don't use mothballs. Not to mention, you may not know this, a lot of people don't, but it is actually illegal to place mothballs outside. You can look it up. I'll link an article here in this post, but you could face up to a $10,000 fine if you place mothballs outside. So please, please, please do not do that. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. There are some other things that you need to do to make your yard less desirable for snakes. So I'm going to go ahead and get into those right now. All right, so we've already acknowledged that snake repellents do not work. So what you're gonna wanna do is take a couple proactive steps to reduce snake activity in your yard, because unfortunately, this is Florida and we do live in a very rural area. There are going to be snakes. So go ahead and just be aware of that right now. Unfortunately, there's no way to 100% deter snakes from coming into your yard, but there are things we can do to help reduce snake activity in our yards and to dissuade them from staying around our houses and hanging out. So I'm going to get into those. We need to identify needs that the snakes have. So there are 3 things that snakes need, just like us and every other animal. That's going to be food, water, and shelter. So if we can address those 3 things, we can reduce the amount of snakes that are hanging out and staying in our yard. So the first and probably one of the easiest things you can do is keep your yard or your property tidied and well cut. I know it's been really hot lately, and if it's not super hot outside, it's been raining, so it's been kind of difficult to do. For me especially, my lawn is really unkept right now. But you got to think about it from a snake's perspective or point of view. Most things that attack and eat snakes are going to come from above, so they really do not like feeling out in the open, or feeling exposed. So tall grasses and shrubs and bushes like that, if your yard is not mowed, if all of your ornamental and decorative landscaping plants are unkept and not trimmed, that's going to provide more cover for snakes to move around and feel secure in. So if you want to keep snakes out of your yard, keep your grass cut really short, and also keep all of your landscaping plants trimmed back. And if you do those things, that's going to reduce the snake activity. It's going to make snakes feel exposed and scared, so they're going to not feel comfortable on your property. And when they do come around, they are definitely not going to be staying. Now, the next thing we are going to want to consider is something that all of us, or most of us at least, may be guilty of to one extent or another. But that's just keeping your yard tidy and debris piles put away. So if you have piles of debris, like maybe sheet metal like this, or big piles of lumber or knocked down trees or tree limbs, maybe even a pile of outdoor toys for your kids or your grandkids, all kinds of things like that. It's going to draw in snakes just because debris piles like that are going to provide somewhere safe for the snake to hide, whether it's just trying to escape the heat or the cold or a predator, or if it's looking for somewhere to shed its skin or maybe even give birth. Debris piles and things like that are definitely going to be an attractant for snakes. Not to mention, piles of debris like that will also draw in rodents and lizards and other things that snakes like to eat. So if you draw in the food, the snakes are more than likely going to come at some point. So to go along with cutting your grass, you definitely want to keep your yard tidy and debris piles put away or cleaned up. Also, if you're like me and you have chickens or you have bird feeders, you're going to want to store your chicken feed and your bird seed, or maybe your cat food or dog food, anything like that that's stored outside. You're going to want to store it in something like a metal trash bin, or maybe something that clamps or clips and doesn't fall apart or have holes, because if this is accessible to things like rodents, they will come to eat this stuff, and in turn that's going to attract snakes. Not to mention, if you have, say, bird feeders out in your yard, those could also attract snakes, because those birds are going to sling seed all around on the floor, and we have snakes that eat birds, but we also have plenty of snakes that'll eat rodents. So if you have squirrels or rats coming up to those bird feeders to eat that seed that's been thrown around, that could also be a spot for snakes to set up an ambush and wait for an easy meal. And I'm sure some of you at one point or another have had a snake in your chicken coop. They are drawn, especially rat snakes, are drawn to those eggs, and they are going to gobble them down. So once again, just make sure to keep your bird seed and your other foods that you may have stored outside put away, and also be really cautious around your bird feeders and keep the grass around them mowed really well. All right, so we have covered shelter and food already. So the last thing I want to get to is going to be water sources. So this may be one of the harder things to manage, but things like outdoor AC units or window units that have condensation and runoff, they may create puddles such as this, maybe even hose spigots or even coiled up hoses. All of those could create dampness, moisture buildup, condensation, puddles, things like that. And like I said, that may be something that is difficult for you to manage. But if you're at least conscious about these things, if you can't eliminate those from around your home, at least be cautious when you are working outside and working around them. Because if you can eliminate water sources like this, or if you're at least careful around them, that's also going to eliminate or at least reduce snake activity. Because if there's nowhere damp collecting water, the snakes aren't going to have anything to drink around your home or in your yard, which, like everything else, snakes need to drink. So if they can't find food or shelter and they can't find water, when they come onto your property, they're definitely not going to stick around. So with all of those things in mind, I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I am more than happy to help. So once again, thank you guys for watching these videos. I hope this helps. Like I said at the very beginning, nothing like mothballs or any snake repellent, none of that's going to work. Lemongrass, I've heard that as well. There is no approved snake deterrent or repellent that works. So please save your time, save your money. Don't invest in anything like that. Just consider all the things that I talked about in this video, which is fairly simple for the most part. Keep your yard clean, keep it mowed, and keep it as dry as possible, and you will still encounter snakes crossing through from time to time. Like I said, this is Florida. We live in a very rural area. You're gonna see snakes, but if you do these things that I talked about, you're not gonna consistently have snakes hanging out or staying in your yard, which in turn will probably make a lot of you guys feel really good and feel a lot more safe. So thanks for watching. I hope this was super helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and please, please, please if you do have any snake problems or snakes pop up in your yard, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to come help. So thanks for watching, y'all.